Chosen one, this is no accident. You are hearing these words at this precise moment because God has a divine plan that is unfolding in your life. Everything you have experienced up until now has been preparing you for this very moment. You may not fully understand what is happening or why it is happening, but God is telling you now, it is time. God has already made his decision. This moment is not up for debate. It is a divine appointment. You are on the verge of a life-changing transition. Heaven has appointed this time for your shift, and it is no longer a matter of waiting or wondering. The time has come for you to move forward, and God is directing your steps. Your purpose is aligning with God's will, and he is calling you to take that next step. You are about to leave behind the old and step into the new. The significance of trusting God's timing cannot be overstated. When God decides, it is not about your feelings or your understanding. It is about his divine will being fulfilled. His plans are perfect, and when he moves, everything aligns perfectly according to his purpose. Trust in his timing, for he is leading you exactly where you need to go. This is a preordained moment. The shift that is happening in your life is not random. It is a divine calling. Your destiny is changing, and you must pay attention. God is calling you into something greater, and it is time to step into the new season he has prepared for you. Chosen one, there comes a moment in every person's life when God decides to intervene, to move in such a powerful way that nothing, no power, no force, not even the enemy in hell, can stop the shift that is about to occur. You have reached that moment. It is not by accident that you are reading this, and it is not by coincidence that you have arrived at this pivotal point in your life. God has decided that your time for transition has come, and this moment is not just a fleeting experience. This is the beginning of a divine shift that will forever change your life. When God decides, there is no force that can stand in his way. The doors that have been closed to you, the obstacles that have held you back, the challenges that seemed insurmountable, all of them are being removed, not because of your efforts, but because of God's divine intervention. The forces that once kept you in place are being undone, and nothing and no one can prevent the move that God is making in your life. You may have felt for a long time that the doors of opportunity were locked. You've experienced moments of feeling stuck, confused, and unsure of what direction to take next. But I am here to tell you that God's hand is moving in your life right now, and he is unlocking those doors. Where there once was resistance, there will now be divine favor. Where there was delay, there will now be acceleration. No matter how long you have been waiting, or how many obstacles have stood in your path, the time has come for your divine transition. The moment has arrived, and nothing can prevent it from unfolding. One of the most powerful signs of a divine transition is the opening of doors that were once closed. You've been standing in front of doors, knocking, waiting, and hoping, but those doors remained shut. Now, God is about to open them. The time you spent in waiting, the struggles you faced, the patience you learned, they have all been part of the preparation for this very moment. The obstacles that once seemed so solid and immovable are being dismantled by the hand of God. You are about to walk through doors that you never thought possible. These are not just ordinary doors. These are divine opportunities that God has been preparing for you. In Revelation 3:8, God promises, "See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." These words are not just for the future. They are for you, right now. The doors of opportunity that have been closed for so long are now opening, and you are about to walk through them into a new season of your life. These doors represent the fulfillment of God's promises, the manifestation of his will in your life, and the beginning of a new chapter. You might have felt overlooked, ignored, or as though the opportunities you desire were slipping through your fingers. But God is telling you now that those doors are opening. You are stepping into a season where things that were once out of reach will now be within your grasp. God's perfect timing has brought you to this moment, and the divine opportunities that are coming your way are tailored specifically for you. You are about to walk into a season of fulfillment, purpose, and destiny. It's important for you to understand that this shift, this divine transition, has been ordained by God. It's not just about timing. It's about God's divine will being fulfilled in your life. You might be wondering, is this really happening? Is it my time? Am I truly ready for this shift? The answer is yes. Heaven has already confirmed it. God's decision has been made, and nothing in this world or the spiritual realm can change it. This is a season of divine confirmation, a moment when what God has promised to you will come to fruition. God has been preparing you for this moment. The challenges you've faced, the disappointments you've endured, the waiting you've experienced, they have all been part of His preparation process. You've gone through fire, and you've come out refined, strengthened, and more aligned with God's purpose. This moment of divine decision is the culmination of everything you've been through. It is the confirmation that you are now in the appointed time to walk into the fullness of your calling. In 2 Corinthians 1:20, we are reminded that, "For no matter how many promises God has made, they are yes in Christ." Every promise God has spoken over your life, every vision He has planted in your heart, every dream He has whispered to you, He is bringing it to pass now. Heaven has confirmed that this is your moment. The decision has been made. God has already decided that your season of waiting is over, and your season of fulfillment has begun. When God decides, it is always at the perfect time. Our understanding of time is limited, but God operates outside of time. He knows exactly when the right moment is to release you into your divine calling, and He has been preparing everything for this moment. You may have felt that you were delayed, that things weren't happening fast enough, but God's timing is always precise. Think of the story of Esther in the Bible. She was chosen by God for a specific purpose, to save her people. But her journey to that moment was filled with challenges, delays, and uncertainty. Yet when the time was right, God placed her in the perfect position to fulfill her purpose. In Esther 4:14, Mordecai tells her, "And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" That same truth applies to you today. You have come to this moment for such a time as this. God's perfect timing has positioned you for a divine transition, and now it's time to step into your calling. When God's timing is in motion, nothing can stop it. There's no force, no person, no circumstance that can stand in the way of what God is doing in your life. Your waiting has been a season of preparation, and now that preparation is about to pay off. The doors that have been closed are now opening, and you are walking into a season of divine favor, blessing, and purpose. Chosen one, as you move forward in this season, trust the process. God's timing doesn't always make sense to us in the moment, but it always leads us exactly where we need to be. Trust that this moment of divine decision is unfolding according to God's perfect plan. You may not fully understand everything that's happening, but trust that it is all part of His greater design for your life. In Isaiah 55:8-9, God reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." God's perspective is far greater than ours, and His plan for your life is always more expansive and beautiful than anything you could imagine. Trust that the decisions He is making for you in this moment are leading you toward a destiny far greater than you could have envisioned for yourself. This moment is not just about change, it's about a divine shift. God has already decided that it is time for you to transition from where you have been into the fullness of who He has called you to be.
This is a shift in your spiritual, emotional, and physical reality. What once seemed impossible is about to become a reality. The dreams, promises, and calling that God has spoken over your life are no longer distant. They are being brought into fruition in this very moment. This divine decision, this shift, is not a small thing. It is a significant and eternal change. Heaven has confirmed that this is your time. You are stepping into the fullness of your destiny, and nothing can stop it. The divine transition that is taking place in your life is God's will unfolding, and it is happening now. Chosen one, a new chapter is unfolding before you, a divine departure that will mark the beginning of a powerful transformation. The chains that have held you back, the limitations that have kept you from moving forward, are now breaking. This moment is not just a step forward, it is a complete shift from what has been to what God is calling you to be.
It is time to leave behind the old ways, the old mindsets, and the obstacles that have kept you stuck in a holding pattern. God is calling you to step into something greater, something new, and He is preparing you for this divine transition. You have felt the weight of chains around you for far too long. These chains may have been emotional, spiritual, or even relational. They have held you in a place of stagnation, preventing you from moving freely and fully into the destiny God has designed for you. Perhaps you have felt stuck in patterns of thinking, in unhealthy relationships, or in situations that have drained your energy and spirit. For years, you've been bound by the past, by fears, doubts, and the limitations of your own mind. But now, chosen one, God is declaring that it is time for those chains to break. God is calling you to leave behind everything that has kept you from walking in your full potential. In the same way that the Israelites were delivered from the bondage of Egypt, you are being delivered from the things that have held you captive. In Isaiah 10:27 it says, "In that day his burden will be lifted from your shoulders, his yoke from your neck. The yoke will be broken because you have grown so fat." The weight of those chains is no longer yours to carry. The moment of divine release has come, and the burden is being lifted from you. The chains that have kept you bound are not only physical, they are spiritual and emotional as well. They represent the wounds, the fears, the insecurities, and the doubts that have kept you from moving forward in faith. But now, God is breaking those chains. He is releasing you from the burdens you've carried for so long. The heaviness that has weighed you down will no longer have control over you. The chains are being shattered, and you are stepping into a new season of freedom and possibility. The time for this departure has arrived because God's timing is perfect. You may have wondered why it took so long to reach this moment, but know that God has been working behind the scenes, preparing you for this very time. Every experience, every trial, every waiting period has been a part of the divine preparation process. In Ecclesiastes 3:1, we are reminded, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." This is the appointed time for your departure from the old and into the new. What seemed delayed was actually God's perfect timing at work. Now that the moment has come, it's time for you to move forward. God's timing is not bound by our understanding of time. He is working in ways that are beyond our comprehension. What may have seemed like delays were actually moments of preparation. In these times, He was refining you, strengthening you, and teaching you to trust in His plan. The challenges you've faced, the setbacks you've encountered, and the moments of waiting were all part of His divine orchestration. Everything has been leading to this moment, this divine departure. Trust that the timing of God is always perfect, and now is the appointed season for your breakthrough. As you move forward into this divine departure, there is a profound shift in your identity. This transition is not just about physical movement, it is about spiritual alignment. The old identity you have carried, shaped by your past experiences, struggles, and mistakes, is being left behind. You are stepping into a new season where your true identity in Christ is being revealed. In 2 Corinthians 5:17, the Word tells us, "Therefore, If anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here. This is not just a change in your circumstances, it is a change in who you are. You are no longer defined by the failures or limitations of your past. The person you once were, bound by fear, doubt, and insecurities, is fading away. In its place, a new creation is emerging, one that is confident, bold, and fully aligned with God's purpose. The shift in your identity is about fully stepping into who God has always intended for you to be. This new identity is not based on what others have told you or the labels you've accepted in the past. It is rooted in the truth of who God has called you to be. You are a child of the King, equipped with everything you need to fulfill your divine calling. As you embrace this new identity, you will find yourself walking in a new level of authority and confidence. Leaving behind the old and stepping into the new requires courage. It requires you to trust in the unknown and to step forward even when you don't have all the answers. This divine departure is not a comfortable or easy transition. It is a leap of faith into the unknown, but it is exactly what God is calling you to do. In Joshua 1:9, God commands, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." These words are for you, chosen one. God is telling you to be strong and courageous because He is with you in this transition. He is leading you into a place you may not fully understand, but He promises that He will be with you every step of the way. The courage you need to step into the unknown comes from knowing that you are not stepping out alone. God's presence is with you, and His guidance will lead you through every challenge and every uncertainty. Trust that He is already preparing the way ahead of you. You are being called to step out in faith, to leave behind what is comfortable, and to walk into the divine destiny that God has prepared for you. As you take each step in this divine departure, remember that every step is part of a larger purpose. God is not leading you aimlessly. He has a divine plan for your life, and every step you take is bringing you closer to that plan. You may not see the full picture right now, but trust that God is orchestrating every detail. In Psalm 37:23 it says, "The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in Him." Every step you take in obedience to God's call will be firm, guided by His hand. The challenges you face, the unknowns you encounter, will all be part of God's process of shaping you into the person He has called you to be. Trust that His plan is unfolding perfectly, even if it doesn't always make sense in the moment. The divine departure is also about leaving the past behind. You are being called to release the things, people, and situations that no longer align with your purpose. The past, while important for your growth, cannot be your focus. It is time to step into the future that God has prepared for you, and that means letting go of what has held you back. In Philippians 3:13-14, Paul writes, "Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." Chosen one, you stand at a pivotal crossroads in your life, a divine moment of transition that requires your full acceptance. The shift that is taking place in your life is not just a change of circumstances. It is a profound, supernatural transformation orchestrated by God Himself. This moment, however, calls for a specific response, one of trust and surrender. God has already set everything in motion, and while you may not fully understand the details of the shift, He is calling you to embrace it with open arms. This is the time for you to step into your divine destiny and accept the purpose He has ordained for you. To step into your destiny means to fully embrace the life God has designed for you. It requires faith and trust in His plan, even when the road ahead is unclear or intimidating. This divine shift is not random. It is part of a much larger plan that has been unfolding long before you were born. God has prepared you for this moment, equipping you with everything you need to fulfill the purpose He has for your life. You may have struggled with doubt in the past,
wondering if you are truly worthy or capable of stepping into the fullness of what God has called you to do. But now, God is saying, "It is time. Trust me and step forward." In Jeremiah 29:11, God promises, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." These words are not just a comforting promise. They are a declaration that God has specifically designed your future, and He is guiding you toward the very destiny He has prepared for you. Stepping into your destiny does not mean waiting passively for things to unfold. It means taking action with boldness, moving forward with the confidence that God has already cleared the path for you. While you may not see the full picture yet, your willingness to step forward in faith is what will open the doors to greater clarity and fulfillment. This is your moment to take the next step, and with each step you take, you will move closer to the divine calling on your life. This shift is not just an ordinary transition, it is supernatural. God is not merely changing your circumstances, He is transforming you from the inside out. The shift you are experiencing is deeply spiritual and transformative, a work of divine intervention that will not only alter your external reality, but also your internal world. You are being shaped, refined, and elevated to a new level of spiritual awareness and purpose. This divine transition is a process of divine alignment, where God is bringing you into sync with His will.
Just as an artist transforms a blank canvas into a masterpiece, God is working behind the scenes, carefully molding you into the person you were always meant to be. This is a work that goes beyond what you can see with your physical eyes. It's a spiritual work that is preparing you for the greater purpose you were destined to fulfill. The transformation may feel uncomfortable at times, as it involves letting go of old patterns, mindsets, and ways of thinking. But understand that this discomfort is a sign that something new and extraordinary is being birthed within you. God is not changing you for the sake of change. He is refining you for the greater calling that is ahead. As you embrace this supernatural transition, you will experience the power of God's presence and guidance in a way you've never known before. One of the most important aspects of embracing the shift is understanding that God's transition in your life is preparing you for greater things. The journey you've been on, with all its trials, delays, and challenges, has been part of the divine preparation process. Each obstacle, each setback, each moment of waiting was not wasted. They were all refining you, preparing you for the purpose that God has set before you. You may have questioned why things didn't happen on your timeline, or why you've had to endure certain difficulties. But the truth is that God's timing is perfect, and He has been using every experience to equip you for what's to come. The person you are becoming is not the person you once were. You have grown in wisdom, strength, and faith, and God is now bringing you into a season where you are ready to walk in the fullness of your calling. In 2 Corinthians 4:17, we are reminded that our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. The challenges you faced have not been in vain. They have been part of the divine process of shaping you into someone who is ready to step into the abundant life God has prepared for you. You are not merely surviving the challenges you face. You are being prepared for something greater. Your struggles are refining you for the greater glory that is about to unfold. The key to embracing this shift is trust and surrender. It's about trusting that God is in control, even when the path seems unclear. It's about surrendering your own understanding and allowing God to lead you in the direction He has set for you. This is not always easy. We live in a world that encourages us to control everything, to plan and orchestrate every detail of our lives. But God is calling you to surrender your plans and trust that His plans are far greater than anything you could imagine. Proverbs 3:5-6 tells us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Trusting God means letting go of the need to control the outcome and fully relying on His guidance. It means stepping into the unknown with confidence, knowing that God is leading you every step of the way. Surrendering is not about giving up. It is about yielding to the greater plan that God has for you. When you surrender, you open yourself up to the supernatural work that God is doing in your life. You allow Him to take the lead, knowing that He will never lead you astray. As you surrender to God's will, you will experience the peace that comes from knowing that He is in control and that everything is unfolding according to His perfect plan. This divine shift is not just a transition, it is a supernatural breakthrough. You are entering a season where God is going to break open the things that have been held back in your life. The doors that were once closed are now opening, and the opportunities that seemed impossible are about to become a reality. This breakthrough will be a result of your faith, your trust, and your willingness to embrace the shift God is bringing about in your life. In Isaiah 43:19, God says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." The new thing that God is doing in your life is going to spring up suddenly, and you will see the fruit of the transformation that is taking place within you. The wilderness and the wasteland you've been through are being transformed into a place of abundance and blessing. This breakthrough will be marked by divine favor, provision, and guidance. You will step into opportunities that you never thought possible, and you will see God's hand at work in ways that will astound you. The shift you are experiencing is not just a change of circumstances, it is the beginning of a new season where God is opening doors, releasing blessings, and guiding you into the fullness of your purpose. Chosen one, God has called you to a higher purpose, and this moment of divine departure is the key to stepping into that purpose. Embrace it fully, knowing that everything you have experienced has led you to this point. The breakthrough is coming, and it is going to redefine your life in ways you never imagined. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. Chosen one, the time has come for you to embrace a powerful truth. In order to step fully into the new season that God is calling you to, you must release the past. This release is not just a physical act of leaving things behind. It is a spiritual process of letting go of old mindsets, relationships, and hurts that are no longer aligned with the purpose that God has for you. This release is essential for your growth and your ability to walk into the fullness of the destiny that God has planned for you. As you let go of what has held you back, you are making space for the new things that God wants to do in your life. The journey of release is never easy. It requires courage, trust, and sometimes even a painful process of cutting ties with things and people that have shaped your past. But God is calling you to step into a new identity, one that is free from the limitations of your former self. It is time to leave behind the baggage that has weighed you down and to step into the freedom that comes with embracing God's calling for your life. Leaving the past behind can be one of the hardest things to do, especially when it is filled with experiences, memories, and relationships that you have grown attached to. But God is reminding you that in order to move forward, you must release the old, even if it's painful. Holding on to past hurts, regrets, and negative experiences can keep you tethered to a version of yourself that is no longer who you are becoming. The past, while it has shaped you, no longer defines you. It is time to let go and embrace the new version of yourself that God is calling forth. In Isaiah 43:18-19, God declares, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" God is doing a new thing in your life, but in order to see it, you must let go of the former things. You cannot step into the new without leaving the old behind. This doesn't mean you forget the lessons learned from the past or the people who have helped shape you. It means that you no longer allow the past to hold power over your future. It is time to move forward in the fullness of your calling. The release is not just about letting go of physical things, but also about releasing the emotional and mental baggage that you've carried with you. Perhaps you've been carrying the weight of past failures, disappointments, or painful experiences that have left deep scars on your heart. These things, while they have contributed to your story, are not meant to define you or dictate your future. God is calling you to release the hurt, the bitterness, and the unforgiveness that have kept you bound. As you release these things, you will experience the freedom that comes with walking in alignment with God's purpose. In this season of release, there is also a divine separation happening. God is calling you to separate from certain things, people, and situations that are no longer aligned with the destiny He has for you. This is not a punishment or rejection of the past. It is a necessary part of your elevation. Just as a seed must be separated from the soil to grow and bear fruit, you too must be separated from the things that have been holding you back in order to step into the fullness of your potential. This separation may involve letting go of relationships that no longer serve your growth or purpose. It may mean distancing yourself from environments or situations that hinder your progress. You may feel a sense of loss or sadness as you release the familiar, but trust that God is making room for something greater. In Matthew 10:34-36, Jesus warns, "Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household." The call to follow Christ is a call to separate from what does not align with God's will, even if it means facing division or misunderstanding. As you release the old and embrace the divine separation, trust that God is protecting you and guiding you to where you need to be. This is not about losing what you once had. It is about gaining something far greater. God is calling you to rise higher, to move into a new level of purpose and alignment with His will. The separation is not to isolate you, but to position you for the blessings and the destiny that He has for you. Part of the divine separation is walking away from familiarity. Familiarity can be comforting, but it can also be limiting. Sometimes we hold on to things, people, or circumstances simply because they are familiar, even though they are not helping us grow or move forward. The comfort of the known can keep us in a place of stagnation, preventing us from stepping into the unknown where God is calling us to go. God is asking you to leave behind the comfort of the familiar and step into the unknown with Him. The journey ahead may feel uncertain, but it is in the unknown that God will reveal Himself in new and powerful ways. Just as Abraham was called to leave his family and homeland in Genesis 12:1, God is calling you to step out of the familiar and trust that He will guide you into the land of promise. You may not know exactly where you're going, but you can be sure that God is leading you every step of the way. As you walk away from the familiar, you will experience the thrill and adventure of walking in God's will, knowing that He is with you every step of the way. Walking away from familiarity also means stepping out of old mindsets and patterns of thinking that have kept you stuck. These mental patterns, fear, insecurity, doubt, have been holding you back from the full potential that God has placed inside of you. To embrace the new season, you must renew your mind and allow God to transform the way you think. Romans 12:2 urges us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." The release of the old is not just about letting go of external things. It is also about allowing God to renew your mind and thoughts so that you can embrace the fullness of what He has prepared for you. Releasing the old and walking into the new can be challenging, but remember, God is with you throughout the entire process. The transition is not always easy, and there may be moments of doubt and fear, but trust that God is leading you towards something greater. Trust that His plan is good, and He has already prepared the way. In Philippians 1:6, Paul reminds us, "Being confident of this, that He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." God has started this work in you, and He will see it through to completion. The process of release, separation, and walking away from the familiar is not random or unnecessary. It is part of God's divine plan to align you with His perfect will and to bring you into the fullness of the life He has destined for you. As you move forward, trust that God is working in you and through you. He is using this season of release to shape you into the person He has always intended for you to be. Don't be afraid to let go of what's comfortable and familiar, because God is leading you into a place of greater peace, purpose, and fulfillment. The best is yet to come, and as you release the past, you are making room for the abundant future that God has prepared for you. Chosen one, there is an undeniable truth that is unfolding before you, a truth that you may not have fully grasped in the past, but now, in this moment, it is becoming clearer than ever. Everything you've experienced, the waiting, the struggles, the heartaches, the victories, has been part of God's perfect plan for your life. Every twist and turn, every challenge and triumph has been meticulously designed by the Creator of the universe. You are not where you are by accident, nor are the events that have shaped your journey random or arbitrary. God has been at work behind the scenes, preparing you for this divine moment of transformation. In times when it felt like nothing was happening, when doors seemed to be closed, or when your prayers appeared unanswered, God was still working. You may have wondered why things weren't moving forward the way you expected, or why it seemed like nothing was happening at all. But even in those moments of waiting, God was preparing you in ways that were not immediately visible. It was during the silence and the stillness that God was doing His most powerful work in you. The moments of quiet were not wasted. They were a time of deep spiritual preparation. God was fortifying your spirit, refining your character, and developing the patience and endurance needed for what lies ahead. In Isaiah 64:4, we are reminded, "Since ancient times no one has heard, no ear has perceived, no eye has seen any God besides you, who acts on behalf of those who wait for Him." Every moment you spent waiting and trusting, even when you didn't understand the purpose behind it, was an essential part of God's process. It is in those times of unseen preparation that God is often doing His most profound work. Though you couldn't see the changes happening on the outside, He was transforming you from the inside out. Every challenge you faced, every setback you encountered, was part of a divine construction process, one that was molding you into the person you needed to be in order to fulfill your purpose. God has been shaping you, and now you are at a point where you can look back and see that every part of your journey has led you to this moment. Every struggle, every disappointment, every victory has been preparing you for something greater. The process you've been through was not about wasting time. It was about forming you into someone who is capable of handling the weight of the purpose that God has placed on your life. Just as a sculptor carefully chisels away at a block of stone to reveal the masterpiece hidden within, God has been chiseling away the parts of you that no longer serve your divine purpose. This transformation process may not always have been easy or comfortable, but it has been necessary. In Romans 8:28, we are assured, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Every experience, every challenge has worked together for your good, bringing you closer to the person you are meant to be. You may have felt the weight of the journey at times, especially when things seemed uncertain or when progress seemed slow. But trust that God was using every moment to prepare you for the next step. He was building the strength, wisdom, and resilience needed for you to walk confidently into the purpose He has called you to. Your story is not just a collection of events. It is the unfolding of God's perfect plan, step by step, moment by moment. The struggles you've endured were not in vain. What you saw as setbacks, disappointments, or moments of failure were actually part of the refining process. God uses the fire to purify and strengthen us. The gold is refined through heat, and so are we. In 1 Peter 1:7, it is written, "These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." Your struggles,
your pain, and your perseverance have been refining your faith, shaping you into someone who is not easily shaken, someone who is ready to handle the calling that lies ahead. You may have felt the sting of disappointment when things didn't go as planned, or when your dreams seemed out of reach. But in those moments, God was building something far more valuable than earthly success. He was building a character that could carry the weight of His glory. The struggles were necessary to prepare you for the breakthroughs that are about to come. The very things you've faced in the past are the things that will propel you into the future God has for you. As you move forward, you are entering a season of restoration.
God is not only bringing about transformation in your life, but He is also restoring what was lost or broken along the way. Everything that has been taken, delayed, or seemingly denied will be restored in God's perfect timing. In Joel 2:25, God promises, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten." What you may have felt was lost in your past will be restored to you and more. God's restoration is not just about returning what was lost, but about bringing something better, something greater into your life. Restoration is not just about material things. It is about healing your spirit, renewing your mind, and aligning your heart with His purpose. God is going to restore your peace, your joy, and your confidence. The broken parts of your life are being healed, and the fullness of God's blessings are being poured out on you. As you step into this new season, you will experience the fruit of God's work in your life. The process that you've endured is leading to a place of divine restoration, where everything you've been through will be redeemed. Now that the moment has arrived, you are called to walk in alignment with God's plan for your life. All the preparation, all the waiting, and all the struggles have been leading you to this point of alignment. God has a perfect plan, and He is now aligning every aspect of your life with His will. This is the time to step forward with boldness, to embrace the transformation that is taking place, and to trust that everything is working together for your good. In Proverbs 3:5-6, God encourages us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. This is the call to trust in God's plan, to surrender your own understanding, and to walk in faith, knowing that He is directing your steps. God's plan is perfect, and it will not fail. Every moment, every struggle, and every victory has led to this divine alignment. You are now positioned for the breakthroughs, the blessings, and the purpose that God has prepared for you. Walk confidently into this new season, knowing that God's perfect plan is unfolding before you. His timing is flawless, and His purpose for your life will be fulfilled. You are stepping into the fullness of the destiny that God has ordained for you, and nothing will stop what God has set in motion. Chosen one, as you stand on the edge of the transformation God has been preparing for you, there is an essential truth you must embrace: the test of faith. This test is not about proving your worth to God, but about trusting His perfect timing and plan, even when it doesn't make sense. Faith is not simply a feeling or belief. It is a decision to trust in God when the road ahead seems uncertain, when the circumstances are less than ideal, and when everything around you challenges your understanding of God's promises. One of the most difficult aspects of faith is trusting God's timing. In our human perspective, time is linear, and we often measure success, progress, and purpose by the clock. We expect things to happen according to our schedule. However, God operates outside of time. His timing is not bound by our limitations, and His understanding of what is best for us is far beyond our own. Isaiah 55:8-9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." God's timing does not always match our expectations. There may be moments when it feels like things are delayed, or that God is not answering our prayers quickly enough. But these are the moments when God is calling us to trust His timing. The delay, the waiting, and the quiet seasons are all part of His divine plan. We often question why things aren't happening in our time frame. We wonder why the breakthrough hasn't come yet, or why the promises God has spoken over us have not materialized. But the truth is, God's timing is always perfect. He knows when we are ready to receive the blessings He has for us, and He knows what needs to happen in us before we can step fully into our calling. What may seem like a delay is actually God's preparation. His ways are higher than ours, and His plan is always for our good, even when we don't understand it in the moment. In times of uncertainty, it's easy for our feelings to take over. When we can't see the outcome, when we feel overwhelmed, or when things don't look the way we expected, our emotions may begin to dictate how we respond. But God is calling you to a faith that goes beyond your feelings. Faith is not about what you can see or feel in the moment. It is about choosing to trust in what God has promised, even when your emotions are in turmoil. 2 Corinthians 5:7 reminds us, "For we live by faith, not by sight." Faith is the decision to trust God despite the visible circumstances. When everything around you feels uncertain, when you don't have the answers, when the situation doesn't seem to align with God's promises, this is when faith is most important. You must trust not because of what you see, but because of who God is. In times of waiting, the enemy will try to sow seeds of doubt and fear, but God is calling you to rise above those feelings and to trust His word. Feelings are temporary, they come and go, but God's promises are eternal, and His faithfulness is unshakable. The more you learn to trust God in those moments when everything feels uncertain, the stronger your faith will become. It's in the waiting, in the uncertainty, in the moments when your feelings say, "Give up," that your faith can grow the most. Faith is tested not to break us, but to refine us. Just as gold is purified by fire, so too is our faith refined through trials and testing. The challenges you face, the periods of waiting, the moments of uncertainty, these are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to strengthen and purify your faith. The process of refinement is not easy, but it is necessary for your spiritual growth and the fulfillment of God's purpose in your life. In 1 Peter 1:6-7, we are told, "In all this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have had to suffer grief in all kinds of trials. These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." Your faith is being tested so that it can be proven genuine. The trials and difficulties you face are the fire that purifies your faith, making it stronger and more resilient. It is through these tests that you learn to trust God more deeply and more fully. Your faith is more valuable than gold, and God is willing to refine it through the fire to ensure that it is strong enough to withstand whatever comes your way. This refining process is not about punishment, it is about preparation. God is making sure that your faith is solid, unwavering, and ready for the next step in your journey. Endurance is a key aspect of faith. Faith is not just a one-time decision. It is a daily choice to trust God through the ups and downs of life. The path to your destiny will not always be easy. There will be moments of doubt, moments when you question whether God is still at work in your life. But it is in those moments that your endurance will be tested. Will you continue to trust God even when it feels like nothing is changing? Will you continue to hold on to His promises when the world tells you to give up? James 1:12 reminds us, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him." The reward for faithful endurance is the crown of life. When you endure through the trials and continue to trust in God's plan, you are preparing yourself for the blessings and breakthroughs that are to come. Endurance is a sign that your faith is growing and maturing. The more you endure, the more you are becoming the person God created you to be. The test of faith is not just a personal journey, It is a stepping stone toward fulfilling your divine purpose. As you pass through these tests, you are being shaped and molded into the person who can carry the weight of your calling. Your faith is not just for your own benefit, it is for the kingdom of God. The more you trust God and the stronger your faith becomes, the more equipped you are to step into your purpose and impact the world around you. God has been preparing you for this moment of divine departure. The struggles you've faced, the doubts you've overcome, and the tests of faith you've endured are all part of God's perfect plan to bring you into alignment with His will. As you stand firm in your faith, you will see the fulfillment of the promises God has spoken over your life. The tests you've gone through are not in vain. They are the very things that are preparing you to walk in the fullness of your calling and to experience the breakthrough that is coming. In all things, God's timing is perfect. While you may not always understand why certain things are happening or why you are in a season of waiting, you can trust that God is working behind the scenes. The test of faith is often a test of patience. It's about trusting that God knows exactly when the right time is for you to step into the next phase of your destiny. When you learn to trust His timing, you will experience peace, even in the waiting. Remember that God has never failed you, and He never will. His faithfulness endures forever, and His promises are sure. Even when it feels like you are waiting too long or facing impossible circumstances, trust that God is preparing you for something greater. He is refining your faith, strengthening your trust, and positioning you for the breakthrough that is just ahead. As you continue in your journey, chosen one, trust the process. Trust the testing of your faith, and know that it is leading you toward your purpose. You are not alone in this. God is with you every step of the way, guiding you, strengthening you, and preparing you for the glorious future He has planned for you. Chosen one, this moment marks the beginning of a new season in your life, a season where everything you have experienced up until now will culminate in a powerful shift toward your divine purpose. This is not just another phase. It is the beginning of a divine alignment that will unlock the fullness of what God has ordained for you. You have been prepared through every trial, every waiting period, and every moment of doubt. Now, you are stepping into a season that is aligned with God's will for your life. And in this season, everything will begin to fall into place. As you step into this new season, understand that it is not merely a continuation of what you've already experienced. It's a fresh start, a new beginning. The things you once struggled with, the obstacles that seemed insurmountable, are now behind you. God has cleared the path ahead of you, and you are walking into a new era of opportunity, purpose, and divine favor. This fresh start is not just a change in circumstances, it is a shift in your spiritual reality, a transformation in how you see yourself and how you engage with the world around you. In Isaiah 43:19, God declares, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" This is the promise for you in this new season. What may have seemed stagnant or impossible is now coming to life. The new things that God is doing in your life are not distant. They are already springing up right in front of you. Your fresh start is not merely a change of scenery. It is a divine invitation to step into the fullness of what God has for you. This is a new season of growth, breakthrough, and fulfillment. The new season you are entering is the unfolding of your destiny. Everything that has happened so far, every struggle, every triumph, every delay, has been part of God's divine plan to bring you to this point. The purpose that has always been on your life is now coming into full focus. You were not meant to live in the shadows or to merely exist. You were meant for greatness, and now is the time for that greatness to be revealed. God has been working in the background, aligning people, circumstances, and opportunities to bring you to the place where you can step into your destiny with confidence and clarity. You are being positioned for the divine assignment that has been written for you from the beginning. It is time to stop hiding, Stop doubting and start walking boldly into the life that God has prepared for you. In Jeremiah 29:11, God promises, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." These words are for you, chosen one. God knows the plans He has for you, plans to prosper you, to give you a future filled with hope. The new season you are entering is the fulfillment of those plans. Your future is bright, your calling is clear, and now is the time for you to embrace it fully. As you step into this new season, you will begin to experience an outpouring of blessings and breakthroughs. The things that once seemed unattainable will suddenly become possible. The favor of God will rest upon you, and you will see doors open that you never thought would open. The waiting season is over. Now, God is moving you forward into a season of fulfillment. The blessings and breakthroughs that are coming your way are not just material or external. They are spiritual, emotional, and relational as well. This new season will bring healing to your heart, peace to your mind, and clarity to your purpose. God is aligning every area of your life, your career, your relationships, your personal growth, with the divine plan He has for you. You will see progress in areas where you once felt stuck, and you will experience the favor of God in ways that you never imagined possible. Psalm 65:11 says, "You crown the year with your bounty, and your carts overflow with abundance." This is a promise for you as you step into this new season. God is crowning this year with His goodness and abundance, and He will provide everything you need to fulfill your purpose. The breakthroughs you've been waiting for are about to manifest, and the blessings will overflow in your life. As you move into this new season, there will also be a shift in your perspective. You will begin to see things as God sees them. Your understanding of your circumstances, your purpose, and your potential will be transformed. This shift is about more than just external changes. It's about a deeper, spiritual shift in how you view yourself and the world around you. You will begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You will start to recognize the blessings in your life that you may have overlooked before. You will understand that everything you've gone through has been part of God's preparation for this very moment. In Romans 12:2, we are encouraged, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." This is the shift in perspective that God is bringing about in your life. As you renew your mind, you will begin to see the world, your relationships, and your circumstances through the lens of God's will.
You will be able to discern His purpose for your life with clarity, and you will begin to walk in alignment with His plan in a deeper way. One of the most significant shifts in this new season is the opportunity to live authentically. You are no longer bound by the expectations of others or the pressure to conform. In this season, God is calling you to embrace who you truly are and to live according to your divine purpose. You no longer need to wear masks or hide parts of yourself to fit in. God has called you to be uniquely you, and it is in embracing your authentic self that you will step into your fullness. When you live authentically, you are free to make decisions based on your true values, not on the fear of what others think. You are free to pursue your purpose without hesitation, knowing that God is leading you every step of the way. In this new season, you will no longer feel the need to prove yourself to others. You will walk in the confidence of knowing that you are exactly who God created you to be, and that is enough. This new season is about empowerment. God has been equipping you for this moment, and now you are ready to step fully into your purpose. You are not entering this season unprepared. You are entering it with the strength, wisdom, and authority that God has given you. You are empowered to fulfill your calling, and God is placing His favor upon you to succeed. Ephesians 3:20 reminds us,
Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. The power of God is at work within you, enabling you to do far more than you could ever imagine. This season is not about your own strength. It is about God's power working through you to accomplish His will. As you step into this new season, you are not alone. God is with you, empowering you to walk in the fullness of your calling. You are being positioned for greatness, and every gift, talent, and ability that God has placed inside of you is about to be used for His glory. This is your time, chosen one. The season of waiting, preparation, and struggle is behind you, and the season of fulfillment and divine purpose has arrived. Step forward with confidence, knowing that God has already gone before you, preparing the way for your destiny. Chosen one, this is not merely the start of a new season in your life. This is a divine calling. You have been hand-picked, set apart, and prepared for this very moment. The life that you've known up until now, with all its trials, setbacks, and waiting, has been a necessary part of your preparation. Now, as you step forward, you are leaving behind the old patterns, the limiting beliefs, and the struggles that have held you back. You are entering a season of fullness, a season where you step into the divine plan God has always had for you. With this new chapter, God is calling you to walk boldly, confidently, and without hesitation. You are not stepping into the unknown alone. God has already ordained your steps and equipped you for everything ahead. You are prepared. His strength is within you, His wisdom guides you, and His love sustains you. As you move forward, trust in the certainty that His plan for your life is greater than anything you could have imagined. You are exactly where you are meant to be, and the journey that lies ahead is full of divine purpose and direction. Take a moment, chosen one, to reflect on the path that has brought you here. Every waiting season, every struggle, and every moment of doubt was part of God's perfect process. The obstacles you've faced have been stepping stones, not setbacks. Now, you are ready to step into the promise God has for you, knowing that His hand has guided you through every moment. The blessings of this divine transition are already unfolding. And as you walk forward, doors will open, and divine appointments will come. You are walking into your destiny.